welcome everybody to this June edition of Trowel Time, coming to you from our beautiful campus in Alma, Michigan. I would call it the garden spot, but it's just full of bugs right now. So the bug capital of Michigan, right here it is. As always, behind the cameras is Ben Tigner. Ben, thank you for being here. Ben's been a busy guy, videotaping all kinds of stuff for our upcoming 200th anniversary. We'll talk about in just a minute. Behind the podium, Darren Thompson. Darren keeping us straight with the flow and making sure that our upcoming events and mailbag are there. With us is Dirk Hughes. Dirk, thank you for kind of in anticipation of the Masonic Minute, which, by the way, has never been a minute, but nonetheless. We have an audience of two. We have Fred Kaiser from Lodge Success Team. Thanks, Fred, for being here.
Fred.
And Tammy Dankenbrink makes the room look a heck of a lot better, who is our hospitality manager. Thank you, Tammy, for everything that you do. On the couch, as always, is Bill Finkel. And Tom Braun could not be with us because he had to commit that horrible four-letter word today.
Work.
Oh, boy. So Tom cannot be with us, but we're thinking of you, Tom, and hoping you have a great week. So, Bill, it's good to have you.
It's kind of lonely here.
It is.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
Hey, Tom.
Feels empty up there, doesn't it? Yeah. Good to have you with us, Bill.
Good to be here, Bob.
So, you know, it's the middle of the summer. We're coming back from Grand Lodge. Things are kind of taking it easy a little bit. I think some lodges go dark, but I'll tell you, I've been at a lot of lodges this week. They do not go dark anymore. So that's, to me, that's a good sign.
Real good sign.
Yeah, and I've eaten very well at all of the lodges that I visited recently. So kudos to those lodges, especially Buchanan was down there Monday night. And that's like going back home. That town is torn up stem to stern. You can't get anywhere inside of Buchanan. But they had bratwursts and yum, so very good stuff. Bill, hey, you've been going around, you've been visiting some places, you've been doing some things. What's happening in the secretary world?
I was at Trenton Wyandotte last night talking to the guys over there.
Yeah.
They were very interested in promoting masonry. They're coming up with all kinds of good ideas, what they should do, what events they should have, and I helped them out a little bit, and then they threw me out.
Yeah, they do that.
When I said you got to work at it, that's when they didn't like what I had to say. They kicked me out, but it was...
Yeah, it's a good lodge. It's close to you, so it's not too far away.
It's very close to me, yeah.
Good. What else is happening in the world of the secretaries? What would you like to kind of remind the brethren of?
Well, I can just personally, I'd like to get into... well, first of all, I'd like more people to sign up for Grandview.
Yeah.
We have just over 5,000 out of 18,500 members, and about 5,000 is signed up now. A lot of information there. We've got a great program. We should use it, and it's not being used to its full extent because ain't nobody signing up. So.
It's one of our biggest problems that we have in the fraternity across the spectrum, and that's how do we communicate with our membership. You know, it's our job to provide you with information. That's our job, and we do it, and I think we do it well. But you have a back end responsibility to that. We can provide it, but you got to actually read it, or click on it and turn it on and do something with it, and we take that seriously. So, if you're having troubles with it, if you can't do it on your own, then for heaven's sakes, call us, let us know, and we'd be happy to help. So. Yeah, we need to up that a lot, and if we did, by the way, costs would come down quite a bit too. So,
well, and I mean, more people could pay the dues online. You know, you've got to be on there to be able to do it. And one of the selling points from Jeff originally was that the number of NPDs would go down because that automatic payment is available.
Sure.
So we need to get more people on there.
Yeah. So make a point of it. If you're not familiar with what Bill's talking about, you know, contact us, shoot Darren a note. He'll have the email address up there for you. And if you don't have that system, you need to call us. It's, you know, you can just give us a ring at 800-321-9357, and that'll get you to the Grand Lodge as well. So we're happy. We're here to help, and we want to make sure that everybody has access to those things that we've put together so that you can be better informed about things that are going on. So, you know, speaking of Grandview and membership and all of that, you know, one of the key pieces of what we do here is provide an avenue for somebody who's not a Mason to become a Mason, right?
Yeah.
and part of that is they submit a little bit of information off of the website, and then what happens with that?
Well, Darren gets that, and he sends a little survey out, and it's nothing crazy. It's just how old are you, how long you lived in Michigan, and stuff that some of the criteria you have to become a Mason in Michigan. And when he gets that, I got to tell you, he sends it to a lodge within minutes. Because he puts on there, received 3 minutes ago, and he gets it out to lodges, and you know, right away. And he's been sending them to me for the last year and a half.
And copying Fred.
Yeah, Fred gets a copy, and I think in the last year and a half I've got 225.
Yeah.
And I went through these, every one of them, 225, all referring to Grandview. Where are they? And I found 30 people who are either Master Masons or in process of becoming a Master Mason, right there of the 223 that he had on there. So 30 from 223 is not great, but it's not bad.
It's not
12%,
13, 14%.
But the other night, being bored and nothing to do and trying to hide from my wife, I decided I would look into this a little deeper. And so I made a list of all the potential people we had that submitted in March and April. And I went and I sent them all an email, every one of them, saying, has somebody from the lodge contacted you? Have you met somebody from the lodge? Have you visited the lodge? Are you interested in continuing? And the next day, I got 12 responses out of 34. The next day, 12 responses. Every one of them said, yes, I want to continue. Only 3 said they hadn't been contacted. So
that's not bad out of that 30, right?
I think that's great. So what I'm going to do now is send their responses to the secretary of the lodge and say, what's going on here? You know, let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
I did the same, because of that success, I did the same for January and February, but I just did that last night, so I'm still waiting to see the results of that.
Sure.
So, but we have a lot of people out there interested in being Masons. And,
everywhere I've gone, they've got work.
Yeah.
So
Darren does a great job contacting the people, and he'll even remind you, you got this one. How about the one I sent you 3 months ago? What's going on with him? But he's a pusher. Okay, he's a pusher. I'm telling you. Does a good job.
I usually will respond to the email I sent them prior so that they can see that guy from February or March, or just ask if they've made contact with him. And they don't always, you know. Sometimes people were just fishing and they decide they don't want to do it and they don't respond.
Yep.
And that's okay, but...
Yeah, I think sometimes, too, it's the distances between lodges. I know some of them have come up in west of here where it's now kind of turning into a Masonic desert. There's not a lot of lodges left out west of Alma. And because of that, they don't have a lodge in their community anymore. And so the likelihood of them joining one where they're going to have to drive 40 or 50 miles to just isn't really viable. So it's a big issue. If we can catch them and bring them in and make them an active part of a lodge, and do the kinds of things that Masonry does, our lodges can thrive and prosper. Our problem isn't that they aren't coming. Our problem is that we just don't really put that as a primary consideration to bring new men in.
Well, I'm encouraged by initially I'm thinking we can do this. So we're going to get members out of this call-ins. I know we will.
Yeah.
Of course, they'll get mad at me. I'm going to just keep pushing until they say shut up or whatever. I don't care. It doesn't. People ask me what my job was at Ford's. I said, well, I used to knock down walls. They said, what do you mean? I said, well, I asked somebody to do something, they'd build a wall, and I'd knock it down. Till I finally said, well, I might as well do it. Okay.
Well, if there's one thing Masons are good at, it's building up walls. So
yeah, there you go. Well, I'll knock them down.
Well, that's good. All right. We're going to come right back, take a break real quick, and Darren's going to talk to you about some things that you can find in our store. We'll be right back. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for the latest Masonic apparel, materials, and literature from the craft? Look no more. At MichiganMasonicStore.com, you can find everything from hats and shirts to tumblers, blankets, and books. Our shirts come in a range of sizes and with logos and branding custom stitched for the Michigan Masons. Don't wait. Visit MichiganMasonicStore.com now.
Welcome back. So normally we'd have Tom over here talk about some ritual thing, but I had the pleasure of going down to Tecumseh Lodge, which, if you get the chance, is a great lodge, absolutely gorgeous building. You need to stop down and go to Tecumseh, visit the lodge. Great group of men, and they're very friendly, and they love to have guests. I think it's because it's one of those that you really don't know how you get there. You don't know how you end up in Tecumseh. You just kind of do.
I've never gone the same way twice.
Never. Yeah, I don't think they have the same roads. It's almost like a Twilight Zone, where you're driving down a road and all of a sudden you're back in some other time. But great group of guys, good lodge. Brother Nick, the junior warden, did the work for an entered apprentice degree and did a great job. And congratulations to all the men who helped down there. Mike Roberts, our deputy grand master, and Ryan Binkley, our new junior grand deacon, were there and pitched in and helped, but did a great job. So it was a pleasure to be there, and it was encouraging to go to a lodge that really took their ritual work seriously and did a good job, and really tried to do a good job. So they put effort into it, and you could tell.
Yeah.
And I was really encouraged by that. They did a great job. So kudos to Tecumseh Lodge, that has probably one of the neatest logos too in Michigan Masonry. So if you get a chance, go to Tecumseh Lodge. The night before, I was down in Buchanan, as I mentioned already, and they did a great job. They're really an active part in their community. They're doing a lot of stuff. So kudos as well to Buchanan Lodge. They're doing good stuff, and we're helping them put together a Masonic Temple Association, which went out of business a long time ago. So those of you that are watching, make sure that you have a Masonic Temple Association. If you don't, you need to get in touch with us. We need to get something like that set up for you. So let us know. We can help. And kind of pull those things together. So,
we have any idea how many don't?
I really do not know that. I don't know how many don't. A lot of them have them, and then something happens that we've talked about before. Is something happens to the secretary
right, yeah.
or the resident agent of the corporation, and the lodge doesn't really know that there's anything they should be doing, and the Temple Association can go away if it isn't renewed every year. After the second year, I think the state just automatically kills it, and then you have to go through the process of getting it back together. That's not onerous either, so that's something we can do.
Okay.
But let us help. We're happy to do so. This morning I went to Breckenridge, does a breakfast now every Thursday morning. If you're in the Breckenridge area, stop. I don't know why you would be, but if you are, stop up. But to the lodge, it's a great group of guys. Today they allowed them to cook in the building. Normally we make them cook out on the lawn because it doesn't really have good ventilation. But we figured because it was raining, we'd let them actually come inside. So
I want to go upstairs.
yeah, everybody wants to go upstairs.
I want to see what's up there.
It's kind of like a time capsule. I'm not sure the raccoon will let you, but Breckenridge is good lodge. I know Ithaca does a Wednesday morning breakfast.
Coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, I'm sorry, they don't do breakfast. They do coffee and donuts.
Coffee. Yeah.
Right.
At the lodge?
At the lodge.
Every
And
Wednesday.
that's hugely successful.
It's-
That's 30 or 40 fellows, and that's where Breckenridge got the idea from. So, there's something, and do that stuff. It makes a big difference. And there's guys that are at that breakfast that haven't come to a lodge meeting in years. But we see them, and they come there, and they have a donut or something.
Well, a lot of people don't drive at night, so they give
Absolutely.
them something Masonic to do in the morning.
I'm not a fan of it myself. Not in this state. Not with the roads the way they are. But I drove through a hatch or something. I mean, my car is absolutely destroyed, so I'm driving my truck. I got bugs that are on top of bugs on top of bugs. So I'm sure that it has something to do. It's a communist plot to lower my morale. And it's working out well. All right. Let's just, we don't have a lot to talk about today because we're missing Tom. But I know Darren has some mailbag items.
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait.
So the first one comes to us from Bill Martindale down there in Sturgis at Meridian Sun Eagle Lodge, number 47. They have a brother who's visiting from California, a Prince Hall brother, and he's asking about, Bill Martindale's asking about the term walking the Tyler sword. Is that something that is just a Prince Hall ritual, or do we use it? Do other jurisdictions use it?
I've never heard of it.
I have never heard of it. So
I had not heard of it either. It does, I looked it up, it does appear to be mostly Prince Hall. I don't know if other jurisdictions use it, but without saying exactly what it is, it's an add-on to the Tyler's Oath. So it's something you do before you actually do the Tyler's Oath. So, but it's not something we use in the Grand Lodge of Michigan.
Correct.
I attended a lodge in California, and I didn't do the Tyler's Walk. I did the oath and stuff, but I didn't do it in
Okay.
Orange County, California.
Okay. Yep, it's called Walking the Tyler Sword, if you want to look it up. But
Well, if
interesting.
somebody asked me to do it, I'm afraid they're going to be disappointed because it's not going to happen. Even if I knew how to do it, I couldn't do it.
All right, question 2 is from Brother Charles Garrow up there in Cadillac.
Cadillac.
He wants to know who, other than the worshipful master, does any brother give a sign to in open lodge?
Nobody.
Yeah, I'm going to say nobody.
Unofficial or official?
No. You know, it may come from, you know, when a brother on the sideline stands up and maybe gives the salute, but is asking a question of the secretary or something, for example. I don't know that. But, you know, the way I was taught, and it's not certainly done in a lot of lodges, and it's a more formal way of doing it, but, you know, the question should be addressed, so perhaps it's, you know, give the sign, worshipful master, to you and through you to brother blank.
Right.
I have a question, could I ask that? That might be what he's referring to, and in that, but you're still saluting the master,
Right.
not the individual. And again, some lodges do that with vigor and zeal, and others don't ever do it. So I don't know. But the only person that you would give a sign to, as far as I would know, is either the worshipful master or his superior, meaning if the Grand Master or his proxy was there or something along those lines.
Yeah.
That's
I've
what I would
seen
say.
wardens do the oath of fidelity to each other, but it's really not something that's in our
No.
It's not in the code.
not in the code, and
No.
we've eradicated that from Alma. We used to do it, but we don't anymore.
Yeah.
So
No, it's hard enough for me to figure out where I'm supposed to be sitting, let alone
right.
try to remember all these signs and things that are going on. Yeah.
Okay, and the final question comes to us from about 65% of the secretaries in the state. How do I request a dues card for a brother?
I'm going to defer
It's
this one
actually
to
quite
you.
simple. Yeah. So you pull up the member record. We got a screenshot there to show you. Pull up the member's record, scroll down on the left to memberships, click that, and then in the middle of the page you'll see a little credit card icon. Click that, and that's it. It goes right to Jamie, and she'll get that out by the end of the week.
Okay. Grandview also has an electronic dues card. Am I correct in
virtual.
that?
There is an electronic dues card available in your member portal that you can pull up and show. And
Right.
even if you're out of state, if they're a Grandview client, there's a QR code and a barcode that they
Mhm.
can scan to bring up your
Yeah. So I
profile,
was
which is pretty slick. But
in Alexandria last week and used that out there, and everything worked good. So,
excellent.
matter of fact, that's how they kind of do a roll call, or instead of signing the Tyler's book, they have a QR code that you scan. It's pretty cool. So, okay, good stuff.
Excellent. So that ends the questions. We do have a couple comments that I'll read. One of them is from referring to the last episode when I think I mentioned that I think that Owasso has a grotto. Dave McDonald chimed in and said Owasso does not have a grotto. Kishma and Burton, or there is a new one in Lansing. So I'll just run them down real quick. There are 9 grottos in Michigan.
Wow. I had no idea.
Burton, Lansing, Fowlerville, Ann Arbor, St. Clair, Waterford, Dearborn, Southfield, and Detroit. And the newest one, I think Dirk mentioned, was set for Kalamazoo, but it's actually in Battle Creek. And the ceremony to launch that is going to be in Battle Creek on July 19th.
Do all these places have drinks and stuff?
I would assume
Food
so.
and things? I mean, what do they do?
I would assume so.
I think we
need
need
one
to
know.
get somebody who's knowledgeable about grotto on our next episode of Trowel Time.
I think we should.
All right.
Perhaps Dave
There
McDonald.
it is. There. Yes, perhaps Dave, although I do know he works during the day, so I'm not
Yes.
sure.
Yes, he does.
Although David
I'm
also
sure he'd be
suggested
glad
we
to Zoom
take
with us
this,
from his desk.
he also suggests we take this on the road, right?
Yes, that was another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't think I can get all this stuff out on the road, but.
It's been done once, I think, so far in Marquette.
It was. That didn't go well. You put a Hooper in front of
Ben
the
is,
camera,
not
and they're just going to
chiming in
go.
either way.
I wasn't there.
No, but we drove. Ben was there. I was there. We drove through a blizzard, and we got there, and others somewhat did not. So that was a long time ago, and I'm over it now.
All right.
I can feel it. I can feel it. Wow.
Our last comment to read is from @DavidEddy1428. These are comments on our YouTube channel.
I know Dave well.
@DavidEddy1428. Hello from Battle Creek. Always enjoy the conversation and learning more about the craft in a relaxed atmosphere.
Huh.
I could read that two ways. I don't know if that means
I'm not sure,
he's
yeah.
in a relaxed atmosphere,
Or we
perhaps,
are. Perhaps both.
or he's referring to us.
Dave
but-
Eddy.
Well, I know Dave well. Back
I do
when
too.
So
when I was
maybe
Grand
he's-
Master and we launched the Beacon Project, I was on.
Oh.
Dave Eddy is the morning mayor in Battle Creek on their radio
Yeah.
station down there, and he had us on to talk about the Beacon Project. And Dave's been a great friend, and
Yeah.
him and his family for many years down that
And
way.
Sue, wife Sue.
It's good to
nice
see
lady.
them. Yeah, I always used to run into him up in Petoskey at the Bayview. He is good friends. I hope the gentleman's still alive that owned the Bayview, but they've since sold it, so I'm not sure if Dave gets up there anymore. But Dave, hi. Good to hear from you. Yeah.
All right, that will close up the mailbag, so keep those comments coming on YouTube. If you have a question or comment, you can email to me at dthompson@grandlodgemi.org.
Absolutely. And while we're there with Darren, why don't we just segue right into upcoming events?
A few of them. The Sir Knights up there in Traverse City are inviting all Masons and families to join them in the National Cherry Festival Parade. That is July 5th in downtown Traverse City. They're going to meet at the Traverse City Temple on West Bayshore Road at about 8:30 in the morning if you want to join them.
Okay. And what is the date of that?
That is July 5th. I think there's usually two parades up there, but I think this one is the
Okay.
bigger of the two.
July 5th.
July 5th.
All right.
It's a Saturday. isn't it?
That's a Saturday.
It's a
yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Some other 4th of July events coming up include Cedar Lodge number 60. They have an annual pancake breakfast on July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Starts at 7 a.m. and it goes through the parade, I think, which starts at 10, so they probably go till about 11 for breakfast. And then I don't have full confirmation, but every year you could reach out to these lodges. Ann Arbor Fraternity, Brighton, Alpena Hopper, and Alcona are usually in their town's 4th of July parade, so go check them out and join them if
Check
you'd like.
them out. Yeah, absolutely.
We've got golf outing season is in full swing, pun intended. Some upcoming ones are Tecumseh and Alcona, both on July 12th. Coloma, July 13th. Cedar Lodge, July 19th. Also, the York Rite outing, I believe, is on July 19th. And there's about a dozen more coming up, so check your Hiram's Herald and the Grand Lodge calendar for those. And then a reminder, August 9th is our annual outing with Prince Hall to Jimmy John's Field in Utica for a ball game.
Be fun.
So check your links for that and
That'll be fun.
get those tickets.
Yeah.
$10 from every ticket sold goes back to your lodge charity account. So pretty
So it's
good
a good deal.
Pretty good deal.
If they brought 1,000 people,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money coming back
That's
to
a
the
lot.
lodge. That's a lot of money. I think it'd be more than Jimmy John's Field has ever seen, but nonetheless,
They might, yeah.
yeah.
And your ticket also includes, hot dog, chips,
Hot dog.
and pop, and
Mhm.
so it's
Hot
a good
dog.
night.
Yeah.
Such
Come
a
on
deal.
out.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Be there. All right, very
All
good. Go to the Grand Lodge calendar for all kinds of pancake breakfasts and all kinds of stuff that's going on all the time.
All kinds of stuff. Check your
Yeah.
Hiram's Herald
Yeah.
weekly. Let me know if you're not signed up for that. We'll get you signed up.
Yeah, if you're not signed up for the Monday, every Monday it comes out. Hiram's Herald, great little newsletter.
And check our Michigan Masons Facebook page because I always link to the Hiram's Herald there as well.
Yep.
So
Lots of ways we stay in touch.
yes.
Do the same. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Be right back with the Masonic Minute.
Every day we make choices. Choices to help ourselves, choices that help those around us. When it's time to make a choice about your senior living options, consider Masonic Pathways. We offer choices for entertainment, socialization, and most importantly, choices that make life easier for you. When it's time to discuss choices in your life, make Masonic Pathways your first choice and contact our care team today.
Welcome back. Well, we've had some lively conversation here from the erstwhile audience at Trowel Time. And before Dirk gets to his Masonic Minute, which I know all of us are waiting with bated breath, some of our breath is more bated than others, but nonetheless. Fred Kaiser in the background there said, there might be one other time when somebody salutes somebody other than the master, and it's when the lodge goes from labor to refreshment and back. The senior deacon salutes
Well,
the junior warden.
the junior warden is in charge of the lodge
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah.
so he would, yeah.
So there it is.
Well done, Fred.
You can
Thank
send you can send letters of rebuttal and complaint to Darren Thompson at
He
Grant.
gets a prize out of the treasure box.
He
A
does.
spider ring or
Yes, a ring pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some of those. All right, Dirk,
Dirk.
take it away.
And I don't believe in time.
Thank you, Bob. Before I get started, I want to mention that no one should be surprised that something called a Masonic Minute is going to take 2 or 3 minutes. That's just how we view time.
That's right.
Okay, so anyway, today we're going to shift gears a little bit. Instead of showcasing a single person, we're going to talk about something that has impacted thousands of people for almost 100 years, and that would be the Detroit Masonic Temple, the world's largest Masonic building. You can find it at 500 Temple Street in Detroit, Michigan. Now, Detroit has long been a hub of transportation and commerce, which means it has always been a hot spot for Freemasonry as well, starting with the first Masonic Lodge west of the Allegheny Mountains that would be the seed for incredible Masonic growth in our state. Now, because of that growth, the Brothers of Detroit built a temple in 1896 located on Lafayette downtown to accommodate the area's growing membership, but soon realized that that wasn't going to be big enough to take care of business. So they broke ground in 1920 for a grand building that would handle the momentum of our fraternity. The cornerstone was laid in 1922 using the same trowel Brother George Washington used during the cornerstone ceremony of the U.S. Capitol. On Thanksgiving Day of 1926, thousands gathered to witness the formal dedication of the building and its consecration for Masonic use. With over 12 million cubic feet of space, over 1,000 rooms, and depending on your source, 14 or 16 stories. Somebody let me out, but I'm sticking with 14. The Detroit Masonic Temple would become the world's largest Masonic building only a few years later when the Chicago Masonic Temple was demolished in 1939. That record still holds today, the world's largest Masonic building. Now, during the peak of Freemasonry, it accommodated about 35 craft lodges, meeting in a variety of different styled lodge rooms, in addition to housing another 20 Masonic bodies for the use of some 60,000 people in total, counting members and families. Now, today it's still a dynamic and active Masonic temple with 6 craft lodges and a number of different Masonic bodies calling it home. Its 2 main theater auditoriums, one of approximately 1,600 seats and the other able to seat almost 5,000 people, are popular venues for public entertainment events such as famous comedians and music groups. Now, this building is of such vast history and physical magnitude, it cannot be adequately described even in a 2.5-minute Masonic Minute. So if you want more info or want to discuss getting a tour for yourself or your lodge, call Rob Moore of the Detroit Masonic Temple Library and he'll set it up for you. There you go. There you have it.
Very good.
All right, thank you, Dirk.
You're welcome.
Had some big words in there I'm going to have to look up. I wrote them down. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Dirk. Well, speaking, we've done some events at the Detroit Masonic Temple this year, more so than in the past, and I think that's a testament to its, not only the temple, but also the city of Detroit is just a great place to be.
They're doing a great job.
Participate in.
Making it, restoring it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful building.
Magnificent.
Yeah, and every Michigan Mason needs to go down there and tour that place, and we're going to make some programs coming up. So that leads us into the in 2026 is the 200th anniversary of the Grand Lodge of Michigan, and we're planning a lot of events for that entire year. So, and a lot of those are going to start up pretty soon. So I want all the lodges to really think about what would you do for the next 200 years. And this is where you're going to start. You're going to start, this is the 200th year. What are you going to do to make sure that in 200 years from then, that we're still there, that the world knows who we are and that we're still making an impact for people. It's a great opportunity to reflect upon the past, but also build upon the future and make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do so that we're here in 200 years for the men who come after us. I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm excited about it. There's some great stuff going on, and as trial time goes forward, we'll start bringing those things to you as they come to the forefront of our plans and what we're doing, and the whole team up here is taking a very active role in all of that. So, is there anything else?
Just to circle back real quick to the prospects, if anybody out there is watching that's not a Mason, we get most of our inquiries from MichiganMasons.org and BeAFreeMason.org. We get some cold calls and some messages on our social media, but basically it's those two websites. So visit those. If you're interested, reach out, and we'll get in touch with you. MichiganMasons.org is our site, obviously. There's lots of information and a join link, and BeAFreeMason.org is a joint venture from the northern and southern jurisdictions of the Scottish Rite, as well as Shriners International. But there's lots of great stuff there as well. So visit one of those sites, visit them both, put an inquiry in, and we'll reach out to you.
Go to Lodge. All the lodges are doing good stuff. Alma Lodge is a great lodge to visit. Ithaca, all of the lodges around here. I get to those more often than others, but down southwest corner of the state, Three Oaks is doing good stuff. Trent and Wyandott's doing good stuff. Solomon's Key is a great lodge. Don't want to leave any out, but there's a lot of lodges, and they're all doing stuff, and they all need people to show up. We need you to go to Lodge and be an active part of it, and that, being an active part is on you. So go to Lodge. I guarantee you'll be blessed because of it. Thanks to the audience, Fred, Tammy, Smiling. There it is. Everybody else. And we'll see you next month on Trowel Time.
Good night, Sweden.